with speed. Final two. Oh, what happened there? Yellow is gone. Tries to eye up Momo. Thought about diving to the inside there. Headed as the mid-pack is, as here comes Snowstorm. Look at this. Momo right on the tail of Yellow Eye. Good bunch of Marble diving into that first turn. Down the front stretch they go, drafting between the three of them. When the prospect of Marbula One was first created, teams were presented with a unique challenge. They created new ways to train, new strategies, new pairings, fueled by a previously unknown desire to be world champions. Heading into the second season, racers from teams new and old converge for what promises to be the most intense marble competition yet, Season 2 of Marbula One. Hello everybody, I'm Greg Woods, sitting high above Minty Mania for the first Grand Prix of the season. Smoggy from the Hazers sits on pole, Yellow Eye, Mallard, and Speedy close behind. The Minty Maniacs, for whom this track is named, they didn't make it out of Q1. Lights are on. And we're rolling! A little bump off that chevron, just like we saw in the qualifying races, drops Smoggy down to second place. Yellow Eye takes the lead by several lengths. A train developing with Speedy behind Smoggy as they work around turn 6 and 7, dropping their way down the backstretch as you take a look at that banked turn that makes this a very short lap and a dangerous entry onto the conveyor belt. So much speed built up, you have to enter it cleanly, but you don't want to get too out of sorts in the banked section. This swing around turn 6 right here can set you up very well for the drop down the ramp, too. That is also a strategic point of this course. But it's Yellow Eye and Smoggy in front of Speedy. Bumble gets in front of Momo, only briefly, and it's Razzie and Prim. Mallard falls all the way back to 8th and is fighting in that group, but it's Yellow Eye still out in front pretty cleanly. Waspy all the way in the back, exactly where Waspy started. Hasn't gained any spots. Same thing with Snowy. Starry has also fallen from P9 down to 14th. That bank turn there, making this more of Mintona than Minty Mania. And Yellow Eye, you see that purple icon up there on the scoring pylon. That means fastest lap, which is worth a point this year, along with pole position. So, these Hazers already sit at the top of the team standings because they got pole, and who will get the extra point for the speed in a one lap around this Minty Mania? Yellow Eye, Momo, good climb there, up 3 spots into second place. Speedy back behind. Then it's Bumble, who started down in 5th. But Yellow Eye's lead has been fairly unassailable thus far. Can Momo start to chip into it? Slightly different lines down that backstretch, and you can see that makes a difference on whether you scrub time moving up the wall or not. We've got a yellow flag here, an incident at the bottom of the conveyor belt we're hearing. Haven't seen what that is yet, but the yellow flag may have been... Hold on, we got a red flag now. The race has been stopped. Track hazards at the conveyor belt. The race will be stopped. And the competitors are just now hearing if they're going to come across and be caught at the base of the belt here after lap 5. Momo has taken the lead. Was that before the yellow flag, before the red flag, or neither? Oh, and look at this. Speedy is off the track and is jammed in the guide. Speedy was off the track and has to retire. Is being checked by the medics. They are going to restart the race using the positions that they were in, but a dangerous situation there for Speedy, getting caught in that mechanism. I don't know if we have a replay here. There we go. Oh my gosh, just shot right up and then careened to the right, and that is dangerous. So the committee is going to step in and make some track repairs. They've added extra guides to keep everybody safe. Momo did not make the move prior to the stoppage, so it will be Yellow Eye starting again from the first spot as we resume here after lap 5. 23 planned, and we're back underway at Minty Mania. This time Yellow Eye avoids that small little red triangle and is able to keep in the lead. Good battle back behind though, stretching for second place and trying to claw up and get in the draft. Different lines, as we said, coming down that backstretch, and this quick lap comes at you so fast. Lime heads up into second place after starting in 12th. That's pretty impressive. Then it's Mallard and Bumble. Momo, Razzie, Smoggy, our pole sitter, all the way back in 7th. Then it's Clementine back in 8th. C in 9th, and Yellow in 10th. Coming up the belt, it's a half a second lead for Yellow Eye. And then a big three-way battle, and I would say more than that, for the final podium spot. They're all within a couple of lengths of each other, pairing up to get in the draft as they get ready to head down the ramp onto the backstretch. Drifting inside, a couple of sharp hits off of that wall. Some very smooth pathways through that bank turn, making a huge difference and gaining a little bit of ground. In fact, Momo used it to pick up 3 spots up into second place, and fastest lap for now. Yellow Eye's lead has come down. Momo and Mallard are battling for second place. Behind them, a little bit of a gap to Bumble and Limelight. Smoggy still down in 7th place, now down into 8th. Starry down in 10th. Clementine fallen to 11th. Remember, Minty Maniacs are not in this one. They were eliminated in the new form of qualifying, where in Q1, the bottom 4 are eliminated and do not move on. Minty Drizzle was down in that bottom spot. So already, first race of second season. Are we talking about a host curse? I'm not sure. Momo loses second place, but keeps fastest lap for now. An 8/10 lead for Yellow Eye, who has really been at the front for this entire race. Nearing the halfway point. Good battle for second place, still as they've been locked for quite a while. Similar pathways coming through the bank turn, but a couple of bumps off the walls makes it ever so close as they're going to come off the conveyor belt and over the line. Starting lap 12, Yellow Eye's lead has expanded by 2/10 up to a full second. Razzie in 4th. It's a good climb for Razzie, even though started in 6th, had fallen down early on. Trying to claw that back. Speaking of clawing back, Mallard gets fastest lap and takes 3/10 out of the lead of Yellow Eye. Still, with so much of this race to go, you wonder if they're just sitting back. Look at that giant train developing behind Razzie. Just off the picture there, let's see if we can see it coming down the backstretch. Not quite, but that was a huge group, 5 or more marbles stuck behind the representative of the Raspberry Racers. 1.72, that was a great response by Yellow Eye. Lead is enormous now compared to where it has been, but you have to stay clean all the way throughout. That was a much cleaner line coming through that bank turn. This track, by the way, a little under 10.5 meters in length, 9 turns. We're looking for about that 21.48 second lap time, and they responded to that pretty well. This is a brand new track for everybody, I assume, except for the Minty Maniacs, although that didn't really help them all that much in qualifying. Everybody positioning themselves. Nobody going too high on that bank turn. I wonder if that's partially because they're just not used to it. They don't want to take any chances, even if that means you could get a much better launch. Speaking of good launches, look at this. Momo right on the tail of Yellow Eye, as close as they've been for the entire race. 1 length apart. Draft down the backstretch. How will they work through the turn? Pretty well. Onto the conveyor belt. Where are they? Okay, about a step apart. Yellow Eye. Good response. Momo does set the fastest lap, though, a 19.72, and could give Momo 1 bonus point in addition to wherever Momo is going to finish in this one. We're a long way from being done. Yellow Eye, I think, was a little bit surprised on that lap to see Momo so close. Does that force Yellow Eye into a mistake? Or will they stay clean? Mallard back in 3rd. Snowy. A good climb up. C is up 5 spots in front of Bumble and Yellow, then Razzie and Limelight. Smoggy back in 10th, fallen from pole position. A great second sector there. Explodes the lead for Yellow Eye. Enormous right now. 1.91 seconds, and that was a great response. Yellow Eye has been managing this race so well, you kind of wonder if maybe started to lean back a little bit and then noticed Momo charging and had to put it together again. Cooled down slightly, able to get going, back at full pace. We did have that red flag, remember. That let everybody rest just a little bit, but sometimes that can do more harm to your nerves than good. It's a 2-marble race thus far. Mallard, a couple of seconds back behind those top 2, then another further couple seconds back is Bumble. Yellow Eye has been absolutely peerless so far. Couple of laps to go. 1.4 seconds is the gap. Then it's 3 seconds from the lead down to Mallard in 3rd, who has a good cushion of over 2 seconds over Bumble. Starry keeps falling back. Prim gets up a spot, as does Limelight and Smoggy, to stay in the top 10 and keep getting some points. These laps come at you quickly, though. We're nearing the 7.5-minute mark. The lead grew ever so slightly. Yellow Eye comes up the belt. Drops across here on lap 22. Momo Can that lead come down? Doesn't have to worry about Mallard back behind. You'll see a peek over the shoulder every once in a while just to make sure. Same for Yellow Eye, who's going to head into the final lap. The newcomers, Crazy Cat's Eyes, would love to get a victory in the first Grand Prix of the second season of Marbula One. The lead is coming down just a little bit. I don't know if there's going to be enough time, though. A clean exit through the ramp. Yellow Eye gets the win. Momo picks up second. And Mallard rounds out the podium in third. The Crazy Cat's Eyes are victorious. Yellow Eye takes the top spot. Momo gets an extra point for fastest lap. And that came in a valiant attempt to get the lead that ultimately could not stick. And Crazy Cat's Eyes are a little bit crazier in the stands, and rightfully so. What a phenomenal race this was. This was as close as they got. Look at them shadowing each other through the turns. Momo within a length, but the great response by Yellow Eye stretched it beyond all doubt. This bank turn, pretty interesting there. That was a nice little switchback move, but we did have disaster with Speedy launching off of the track at the base of the belt and getting caught in the mechanism. I'm sure that's something that the Minty Maniacs will be looking at moving forward. Crazy Cat's Eyes take the top spot. Momo with 21, Green Ducks back with 16, Bumblebees in 4th, and Snowballs in 5th. One round has come at you, but plenty more are ahead here in the second season of Marbula One. Sand may be coarse and gets everywhere, but it's the bread and butter of the O Raceway, the home race for the O Rangers. Here in Season 2 of Marbula One, hello everybody, I'm Greg Woods. We returned to the O Raceway, which was the second race of the first season of this fantastic marble competition. And it was quite an eventful race, and if qualifying this year is anything to go by, we are in for a barnstormer today. Perched high atop this somewhat sandy track, you'll notice some changes from last year's. The marbles will first go through the roll and go to improve race performance. All marbles will get to keep their same position, though. That's just kind of a fun way for them to get to the grid. By the way, special thanks to our sponsor Cosmocrats, the zero-gravity dystopian adventure that is available now on Steam, where your decisions really matter in a dark comedy and set in zero gravity. It's Wispy on pole, next to Billy from the Green Ducks, who's gotten a great start out of the gate every time they've launched. Then Pulsar, Red Eye, Snowstorm, and Tumult. And we're rolling, and Billy has done it again, but gets shoved to the outside and fights back through the first sector. Great move to keep up in the lead. High on the curbs is Tumult, and I believe Cerulean back there trying to opt for that same strategy. First time they come down the sand, and Cerulean shoots between them all and takes the lead. Billy has fallen way back to 5th, and maybe at risk of losing even more. Mimo in 2nd place, just narrowly ahead of Tumult. Mimo with a phenomenal start, up 12 spots. Yellup is up 11. How about Orangid, by the way, for the home team? Up 5 already. And it's a 2-marble race starting to spread away with Mimo and Cerulean, but that gap is not insurmountable by any means. Look at Billy on the outside with a nice burst of speed to climb right up onto the back of them and get right back into podium contention. This racetrack, familiar one for these competitors. The ramp is hopefully a little bit safer than it was last year for Waspy's incident, as Billy sets a new fast lap, 26.51. Well, quicker than the pace last year. You'll notice a lot of marbles going high up on the curbs through that first curb section of Sector 1, but not on the second one. A lot of them saying that helps them, if they stay off the curbs, to enter the sand cleanly. Billy and Cerulean closing up to a length on Mimo at the end of this lap, and the lead is just 0.06 of a second. Tumult gained another couple of spots. Wispy has done the same. Red Eye is not matching the dominance in the first race from Crazy Cat's Eyes when it was Yellow Eye at the helm in that one. Mimo spreading out for the second place Team Momo. Only one race has gone by, but we've awarded points at both of them. 1 point for pole position. Look at this three-way battle for the lead. Up onto the belt. It's going to be neck and neck for second between Cerulean and Tumult, as Honey has taken the fastest lap, 25.97. That's worth a point, remember, that could play a part, especially later in the season. You'll notice the purple stopwatch designating who holds fastest lap. A 4-marble train develops briefly, but Tumult leaves them in the dust, in the sandy dust, and tries to close in on Mimo. Around the final turn they come. What's the lead now? 0.8 of a second. That's a little bit more comfortable than what Mimo had, but look at all the battles that are going to be coming off the belt. It's a slew of marbles. All around through Sector 1, positions changing all the time. Mimo, Tumult, Billy, and Jelle lead the way, and Billy into second place as Tumult got caught on the walls a little bit. Bumped by Jelle, shoots it forward, and gets right back into the fray with Billy. Where's Mimo in the meantime? That 0.8 of a lead has ballooned by nearly a second and a half. Red-Eye falls back to 9th. Rima, who just missed out on transferring from Q1, back in 11th. Bolt holding up the final spot, just behind rapidly from the, believe it or not, last place Savage Speeders, at least last place in the championship among those who have qualified. Billy with a little bit of breathing room. Wispy shoulders on by to get into second place, but falls out at the final turn to Tumult. Nearly halfway through this race, much longer than it was a season ago. Mimo had been watching the tape from Yellow Eye's performance and realized that, especially this season with as competitive as the mid-pack is, as here comes Snowstorm into third place. As competitive as the mid-pack is, you have to be on your game, and if you can get clear of the field, you do not have to look back over your shoulder all that often. How about Snowstorm? Goes sub-26 and takes fastest lap to improve 5 spots up to third. How does Snowstorm handle the pressure coming from behind? 3 marbles on either side now are battling for that spot, and Snowstorm is going to lose out. A hard bump against Red-Eye, who's having a bit of a return to form as this race goes along, up into 5th now. Snowstorm now sitting in 4th, trying not to lose touch with the 2 marbles in front. That's Billy, who's being hounded by Tumult. Mimo still well off into the lead here on lap number 10. Ooh, Billy and Snowstorm close right up on Tumult. The scoring pylon having a little issue there, but who's not having an issue? Some of these marbles are starting to make good climbs back up. We saw Rapidly do it in the race last year here. Around they come through the first sector. Again, going high on that curbs through the first of those switchback turns and then staying off of them for the most part for the entry onto the sand. Tumult closes up on Snowstorm. Billy can see Mimo at the end of the stretch. That lead, 2.29 seconds. Billy is close behind, though. Tumult, Wispy, Jelle, Honey, Red-Eye, and Orangin, and Pulsar rounding out the top 10. The Rangers would love a top 10 finish here at their home track. The host curse hit everybody hard in the first season. Has it cooled off just a little bit here? Snowstorm into second place, just off of our camera. Nice 2-marble battle there between Honey and Jelle. They get a little bit farther apart as Honey closes up on Tumult, who is falling down the order. Lost 1 spot in the last lap, maybe at risk of losing more this one. Everybody holding station decently well here, perhaps saving up that energy to mount one final challenge in the remaining few laps. One of those runs maybe coming from Billy, who gets by into second place. Honey also passes Snowstorm, who might lose out to Tumult and Wispy. Snowstorm down to 6th. After that phenomenal fastest lap, which still has that point with it so far. Nobody's been able to beat that sub-26 lap that Snowstorm put in a few circuits ago. Mimo so far up ahead, the camera's not even looking. Billy notices Wispy getting by for 3rd place. As Tumult does not want to give up that position very easily. What's the lead up front? Now nearly 4 seconds. A massive margin for Mimo. And Bolt goes fastest lap at the back of the field. Finally got off that last place rapidly. Way back, 13 seconds adrift. Now Billy trying to hold off Red-Eye and got sold the dummy, and they move around the outside, and Billy falls back down the order to 5th and may lose even more. Red-Eye, great charge into second place. Where did Wispy go? All the way back to 7. Lost 4 spots on that one, Red-Eye, with a superb lap. But is there enough time to try to catch Mimo way out in front? Red Eye would need to go fastest lap, as often as possible. Remember that lead the last time around was 4 seconds. Nice dive bomb move there. As Rima up into 4th spot, behind Tumult. A couple of laps to go here, and the lead is visibly coming down. Is Red Eye doing enough? Has Mimo stumbled somewhere? Because look at how much that gap has come down. Mimo around the final turn, onto the belt cleanly. A couple of laps to go. Shaved nearly 2 3/4 seconds off of the lead has Red Eye. Rima back in 3rd, Billy, Tumult. High off the curbs, onto the sand section. Both of them look so slow at this point. A little bit of extra seesawing for Red Eye. Is that going to give Mimo a slight reprieve? 1 1/4 seconds becomes 1.13. It's down by a 1/10. 1 lap to go. Mimo trying to win the race and hold off a great charge from Red Eye. Crazy Cat's Eyes are bringing it to Marbula One here in the 2nd season. Can Red Eye close up on the sand? It doesn't look like it. Everybody else falling behind. Meanwhile, Mimo onto the front stretch, around the final turn, and wins at the O Raceway. Red Eye in 2nd, Tumult rounds out the podium in 3rd, Rima in 4th. Billy fell back to 5th. Then it's Cerulean and Honey. Wispy, Bolt gets the fastest lap, and Jelle. 87 overtakes in the top 5 alone, 270 in the overall race. It's a heck of a lot of counting to do. One thing you can always count on, podium celebrations. Crazy Cat's Eyes, they're getting used to it. Momo in 2nd place in the overall standings coming into this race. Looks to have elevated, or at least tried to close that gap to Crazy Cat's Eyes. This race extremely different from how it began to how it finished. So many changes in positions, and some hard-fought racing too. This final turn had a lot of contact, as did the sand. Sometimes that contact was with the walls, as you see Snowstorm, en route to that phenomenal lap that for a long time was not beaten by anybody. Red Eye fell well back into the order, and then managed to work back up into 2nd and give a very nice challenge at the end. But it is Team Momo by a single point over Crazy Cat's Eyes. Green Ducks and the Bumblebees next up in the overall standings, as we'll see you at the Honeydome. Whether it be with arms or wings wide open, the Honeydome welcomes us to the 3rd race of the Marbula One season, sponsored by Cosmocrats. Hey everybody, I'm Greg Woods. An aerial view right there of the intricate Honeydome, with a difficult 2nd sector, especially with the bee dance portion, otherwise known as the waggle. You also see the hive that awaits our competitors as they exit the roll and go, make their way to the grid. Speedy from the Savage Speeders captured pole position at this track, which gave the Savage Speeders 1 point in the overall championship. That's 1 more than they had through 2 rounds of competition. That gives them a little boost as they head into this race, but 14 laps await, and as you know, a lot can be packed into those trips around the track. In the starting blocks, and the lights are on. And we're rolling! A great start by Speedy, who covers the inside line, but gets high on the curbs through the first turn. Has fallen back to 2nd place as they enter the waggle for the first time. Having a little bit of pressure behind from Minty Drizzle, who just qualified for the first time all season and qualified well. Bumble, as the home team, leads the way. We don't see that very often in Marbula One, and is unassailable through the hive. We've seen that in qualifying as well. Bumble, strongest through the hive, out into the front stretch for the first time. The lead, a decent 1/2 second over Snowy, who jumped 8 spots on that opening lap. Momo did that as well. Clutter fell 6 spots, as one of the farthest to fall overall. Bumble and Snowy were locked together through the first sector and spread out slightly as they moved through the figure 8 of the waggle, the bee dance portion of this Honeydome. It's a spectator favorite, but I can tell you Bumble loves the hive through here. Everybody seems to slow down except for Bumble through there. Minty Drizzle takes second place over Snowy. Then it's Yellow Eye, who gave a dominant performance back at the Minty Mania GP. Fastest lap to Yellow Eye, 33.89. That's something to watch, as that is worth 1 point. Bumble saw everybody close up just slightly exiting the belt, but has recomposed, moving through the bee dance. Well over that is Yellow from Mellow Yellow, well off the pace. Behind C, Smoggy, Prim, and Clutter as we work our way up through the order. Yellow Eye falling back to 7th place. Now Momo is in 2nd and challenging for the lead. They're going to be side by side as they come off the belt. Momo, a fastest lap, and takes P1. How does Bumble respond? Challenged for the first time in this race. Every Grand Prix thus far in Marbula One has seen a dominant winner. In fact, between the two, only one lap has been led by somebody other than the eventual winner. Momo has it right now, and that has allowed Bumble to fall back into the clutches of Speedy, who gets by coming out of the hive. You wonder if that's really knocked Bumble off the game. Now Speedy wants a chance at the lead. Will be 1 step apart as they exit the conveyor belt. Momo comes off cleanly, but Speedy is right behind. They both opt for that outside line, and Speedy gets by. A slight bump off of the split, and that was just enough to give the Savage Speeders the lead, who were looking to net 26 or possibly even 27 points this weekend if they can also capture fastest lap. Momo and Bumble are starting to close up. In fact, Momo is right there with Speedy. Now Bumble is a length back. Down the front stretch they go, drafting between the three of them. And who's going to get the better jump off the belt? It's going to be side by side by side. And it's Bumble. This time opting for the different line along the split, moving to the right instead of the left, and Bumble has responded brilliantly. How long does this lead hold? We've seen it so far this race. It doesn't last for long. Speedy shoulders by into 2nd place. Through the chicane, heading into the hive, is trying to get the better of Bumble now in the 3rd sector. Yellow Eye up to 4th, Shock, Starry, Minty Drizzle, Snowy, Razzie, and Clementon rounding out the top 10. It's a 1/10 of a second lead for Bumble over Speedy. And coming off the belt, there's some difficulty, and Speedy takes the lead again. Momo now eyeing up Bumble. Right on him there, but a response closes right back up on P1 Speedy. This accordion back and forth between them has been superb to watch, and we're only at the halfway point of this race. Yellow remains in last place, C, Smoggy in front, Prim, Clutter, Mallard up in 11th, then Clementon in 10th. Speedy's lead is half a second over Bumble and then Momo, Starry, Yellow Eye, Razzie, Shock, Minty Drizzle, Snowy, and Mallard rounding out that top 10. Everybody among the top 3 moving to the left of the split in the 1st sector. Heading into the waggle, you see that sharp outside line before diving into the apex on the bottom left portion of that figure 8. That seems to be the quickest way around, although in practices and in qualifying, we did see some inventive lines. Speedy cruising off into the distance, Bumble trying to keep in touch. A nice battle there between Starry and Yellow Eye. Yellow Eye led every single lap back at the Minty Mania GP, beating Momo and Mallard, Bumble and Snowy. Everybody in this race was in that first race, so sometimes I will refer to the previous Grand Prix with all of them in it. Of course, the last race was at the O Raceway with their teammates. Now working lap 9 of 14. Through the hive they come. Bumble closes up a little bit and then stalls at the exit of the hive. Is conditioning an issue for Bumble as Momo begins to close up ever so slightly. Starry is also making a nice run, getting a little bit closer every single lap to Momo, carving away 1/10 at a time. But now, Momo right up on Bumble, got a little bit too close there. There are portions of this racetrack where you cannot follow too closely or else you are suddenly going to be jolted backward. This is one of them, through the hive, or through the bee dance into the hive, rather. And another one right here. Nice dive bomb move for Starry, but can't make it stick. Almost got by Bumble on the exit there. Momo closes that one off. As they come up the belt, 1.3 seconds is the lead for Speedy, who exits cleanly. Several marbles hitting that split head on. It really hits them to one side and slows their momentum. Speedy can see Bumble closing in. Through the hive they come, trying to keep it off the walls. Bumble makes the better exit and closes in Sector 3. Down the front stretch they come. Bumble to the inside. Speedy blocking to the outside. Across the line, the lead is down to a little over 1/10. Coming off the belt, they both exit very similarly. They hit off of the split, or a couple of lengths apart. And here's where the technical section can really make a marble shine. You'll see the gaps grow and shrink at that part of the track for a reason. Speedy holds the lead. Once more coming out of the hive with 2 laps to go. Onto the front stretch. A decent gap back to Starry and Momo, Yellow Eye, Clementine, and Snowy. Clementine's jumped up a little bit. And it's Snowy, Prim, Shock, Minty, Drizzle, Clutter, Razzie, Mallard, Smoggy, Yellow, and C, who's been relegated to last place. Nice battle for second place. Coming through the waggle once again. Starry takes P2 and wants to have a run up towards Speedy. Got a lap and a half to do it. Time is running out. Now Bumble struggles coming out of the hive. Yellow Eye and Momo get by, and Crazy Cat's Eye, are they going to sneak in and get a big haul of points? Is it going to come on the final lap? Well, Yellow Eye has captured fastest lap with a 32.94. Needs to do 2 spots better to get the win. Speedy trying to keep it together. One last time through this technical portion. The lead is coming down a little bit, just visibly. How does Starry respond? With some difficulty in the hive, Yellow Eye tries to make the move on the exit. Can't do it, and falls back. They'll finish like that. Speedy gets the win. The Savage Speeders first of this season of Marbula One. Starry in second place, Yellow Eye gets third, and the fastest lap, Yellow and C well off the pace, 17 seconds back. But it's the Savage Speeders who capture 25 points in a race that had 4 lead changes and 47 overtakes just in the top 5 alone. Celebrations on the podium a little bit sweeter this time. Savage Speeders coming into this race had 0 points through 2 events. They leave it with 26 and are now well up the standings. Early on, the battle between Momo and Speedy. Contact between them. More contact on that split from just about everybody, in fact. A bit of careening to different sides here. We had great 3-way battles up front with Bumble getting into the mix, trying to bring it home for the home team. Was unable to do that in the end. Next race, the Aquamaring from the Oceanics as they play host. Let's see if the hosting duties go a little bit better this time. Crazy Cat's Eyes take the lead in the overall standings over Team Momo and the Bumblebees. Please subscribe and stay tuned for more. I'm sure everyone is familiar with the infamous story of the Oceanics hosting the Marble League, but my, how the tide has turned. Hey everybody, I'm Greg Woods. Welcome to the Aquamaring, the home of the Oceanics, a track that they built to get Marbula One here. They have succeeded. Ocean, the last time out, qualified dead last and did not score any points. But for this round, however, battling through the 3 rounds of qualifying, Ocean sits on pole, now has a point, and the Oceanics are hungry to get a race win. Marbles in the gate. And we're rolling. A good bunch of marbles diving into that first turn as we now take a look at who is up front. Is that Billy? It is. And Red Eye, after a poor qualifying, has leapt up into second place, makes the move around the outside, and takes the lead. A marble that has been absolutely dominant in competition so far in these 2 races now that they have competed for Marbula One. A little difficulty coming off the belt. Pulsar, in the meantime, has moved up to second place. Then it's Billy, Ocean, Bolt, Skip, Tumult, Wispy, Cerulean, and Honey, rounding out the top 10. Lemon Lime, Nemo, our last race winner, is way back there. Same thing with Rapidly, Orangen, and Hazy, who have yet to score any points as well. Billy takes the lead coming through the third sector as we head up the belt, jumping 3 spots in that one lap and setting fastest lap, which is partially how it was done. But look at Red Eye closing up, and now a train developing among the top 3. Pulsar's right there as well. Red Eye moves to the inside and makes the move right before the speed boost, but Pulsar jumps in front of all of them. Look at the difference in speed also coming down that backstretch. It's amazing to see how some of these marbles handle that final fast chicane as they get ready to enter sector number 3. This is a 20-lap race, by the way, and a fairly long track that comes at you very quickly. The first sector is only 5 seconds long. Pulsar, and then it's a couple of lengths back to pretty much everybody in the top 5. How will it stratify out as we come through that fast chicane? Amazing to see him snapping around that turn up there in the upper right of your screen. Bolt did get by into second place, but Pulsar's lead is over 1 second. Ocean, in the meantime, has fallen back to 9th from pole position and now jumps back up into 8th. Still has time to get back up there to the front, but judging by the speed that some of these marbles have, especially after that boost, coming down that backstretch, you've got a lot of work cut out for you. Pulsar and Bolt a couple of lengths apart as they head up the belt. 1700ths, and that lead has come down by nearly a full second. Bolt gets the better jump and takes the lead. Red Eye hanging back there in third place over Honey, and it's Cerulean who led all of 1 lap in Cerulean's last race, then Wispy and Billy, who still has fastest lap. Ocean is trying to size up the member of the Green Ducks to try to get by, and nearly a pass there coming out of the backstretch from Red Eye. Can't get by, though. Pulsar has lost the lead to Bolt. Weaving their way through the S's on the far end of the track, then in front of a raucous grandstand that is trying to will Ocean on to get higher up the standings. Points would be great, but they want a podium, they want a win, they want redemption if they can. Look at this battle for the lead. 800ths separates the top 3. It's Bolt, Red Eye, and Cerulean, and how does it shake out coming off the belt? They hold station for now. Pulsar in 4th. Wispy. Billy comes up into 6th place in front of Honey. Battling back there for last place is Nemo and Lemon Lime for that dubious distinction. And down comes Red Eye, trying to get a little bit of distance between those behind as Bolt has stretched the lead nearly to 1 3/4. It's going to be side by side, though, coming off the belt, and we get some switches here. Bolt, Pulsar, Red Eye falls back to 3rd, then it's Billy, Cerulean, Wispy, Honey, and Ocean still in 8th place, nearing the halfway point of this race. Bolt's lead coming down just a little bit. Pulsar tries a different line through that final turn, but can't get it done. 700ths back, though. That's easily within striking distance. Bolt, Red Eye, Pulsar, Wispy. Red Eye having a little bit of trouble with Pulsar behind. They both go to the inside on the speed boost and then switches midway through, does Pulsar. In the meantime, Red Eye carries that speed into the lead and then loses it with an over-under move that was a masterclass by Bolt. 2/10. Honey, Pulsar, and Wispy, and Red Eye gets the jump off the belt. The Crazy Cat's Eyes lead the overall standings for the team championship by 4 points, and if Red Eye can get the win here, I can't imagine that Red Eye would not go to the top spot in the individual standings. Of course, each marble kind of alternating back and forth between the rounds, so after this one you would have 2 rounds apiece to compare the teammates. Honey running well in 3rd. Ocean continues to plummet, down in 12th place. It's all coming undone for the Oceanics. I mentioned Jelle, by the way, is not running. And that is because of an incident coming in qualifying at the base of that speed boost. Hit the track, bounced to the right, and actually left the track surface and fell all the way down into the valley. Medics were there. Thankfully, Jelle suffered only minor injuries, but is not racing today. And may not be racing in the next round either. We'll just have to see how the recovery process goes. In the meantime, Red Eye's lead is growing up to 1.13 seconds. Then it's a Nice stretch back to Pulsar so Bolt can have some breathing room to mount an attack in these final 6 laps. Then it's Cerulean, Wispy, Honey, and Billy, whose early fastest lap has not been surpassed by anyone. I wonder if the track evolution has caused that, or if it's just the difficulty of trying to gain any spots through such a fast backstretch like that, and with pretty good competition too. If you look at the overall standings, both for the individuals and the team championship, the mid-pack has been fraught with back and forths separated by just a couple of points either way. It's the kind of thing we love to see in Marbula One. We also want some good battles up front, with that 4-point gap between Crazy Cat's Eyes and Team Momo. Then it's a little bit back to Bumblebees, Green Ducks, and the Savage Speeders, whose 26 points all came in the last round. Red Eye's lead, fairly steady through the first sector. Pulsar, Wispy, and Honey, they can all see each other as things begin to switch around for them. They've gotten a little bit closer, as has Bolt, right up on Red Eye through the final 180-degree left-hander. 16/100ths it's down to. Honey jumps up into 4th. Red Eye holds Bolt off. For now, they are still lockstep. Some contact there gives them some separation. Different lines through those final turns before the speed boost. But Red Eye navigates that quick chicane so well. The grip at speed is superb, and Red Eye, as I say that, goes 22.94 and takes fastest lap, trying to net 26 points on this round. It's one shy of the best you can do for a single weekend in Marbula One. It's a bit of a poor qualifying for Red Eye, but unperturbed continued on, and within the first lap was right up there. 3-second lead over Bolt. That lap right there may not have been a fastest lap, but it was a fast lap, no doubt. Ocean has recovered and has gotten up into the top 10, but loses a spot to Tumult, and now sits in 9th. Orangin and Ruzzy trying to get any points at all on this season. They need to do a little bit better than that as we enter the final lap. Red Eye's lead is over 3.5 seconds. Bolt has some space over Honey, who has about 7/10ths over Cerulean. Where is Red Eye? Coming down the backstretch, actually changes the line through that final speed chicane. Around the final turn, Red Eye, another dominant performance, 26 points. Unless somebody can pip the fastest lap here, so far it hasn't happened. Bolt and Cerulean will round out the podium, with the latter just nipping past Honey. In the final few turns, then it's Wispy, Billy, Pulsar, Tumult. Ocean does finish in the top 10, and Orangin jumped 2 spots to finish in 10th for the Orangers, who sit on just 4 points overall. There's one yellow flag. Brief incident that I don't even think we saw. But it's the Crazy Cat's Eyes back on the top step of the podium, triumphant again. Red Eye, 2nd place in the last outing at the Raceway. That opening Grand Prix of Marbula One went to Yellow Eye, who led every lap. This team has definitely become the one to beat. So much strategy on the entry and the exit of the split. And Red Eye now moves to the top spot over teammate Yellow Eye, of all things. The number of scoreless marbles down to 6. Still a lot of the season left, but for the team championship, who's going to chase down Crazy Cat's Eye? 88 points, now 30 clear of Team Momo. That's over 1 full race. And that's if you get fastest lap and pole as well. Then it's close between the Bumblebees, and the midfield battle continues to stay hot. We'll see you next time. Hope your Thanksgiving went well for the 5th round of Marbula One.
Greg, where are you? The race is starting. Where is he?
You might want to take a look.
Oh.
Attention! Greg Woods, please make your way up to the commentary booth. as the race is about to start.
Whew. Hey everybody, welcome to Tumult Turnpike. I am Greg Woods, and this track is absolutely phenomenal. My apologies for being late. I had a meeting and traffic was just terrible. And okay, actually I just really wanted to test this track. It is so different than all of the other tracks that we have come to thus far in Marbula One. 11 turns, 7 to the right, 4 to the left. Also, we have some new merchandise in our shop, so be sure to check it out. Bolt is on pole, and we're ready to get this round underway. Some of these marbles will have raced 2 weeks in a row. How will that factor in? And we're rolling! A decent getaway by Bolt, but he's shouldered out of the way at the first turn. We've got a new leader, and it's from the Limers. Heading up down the front stretch for the first time into the chicane. It is definitely going to change things around quite a bit. Bolt has a look on Line, but can't get it done. Into this very twisty third sector, Mallard has dropped all the way to 6th. In the meantime, Hop to 3rd. Momo, Yellow Eye, also in the mix there, as Yellow Eye goes to 3rd, makes an under-over move for 2nd place. Bolt regains the lead, but is watching over the shoulder because Yellow Eye is coming, as has happened in nearly every Marbula One race so far this season. Into the bank turn. The gaps staying fairly similar, and now comes Yellow Eye to the left! Gets the move done at the chicane and moves into the lead. Bolt so shaken by it that Lime also gets by, only briefly. Bolt putting it back together to make a run on Yellow Eye. Into the final turn. Can't get it done there. They will come up the belt, separated by 1 step. Momo in 3rd has the fastest lap of the race so far at a 28.28. Yellow Eye into the distance thus far. Our 2nd place in the overall championship behind teammate Red Eye, 46 to 42 respectively. And nice bit of speed there from Hazy down that front stretch. As Yellow Eye still holding the lead, but now Lime comes right up onto the back of Bolt. They're going to be a step apart as they come up the belt, and it's Momo, Starry, Prim, Speedy, who started dead last, Hop, then Hazy, and Mallard, who's fallen all the way back into 10th after a traditionally good qualifying. Bolt gets by on the front stretch. Can he hold it through the chicane? Yes, indeed. But Yellow Eye gets it on the exit. This is a good battle developing between Crazy Cat's Eyes and the Thunderbolts. A 3-marble train developing behind Bolt, who tries to go to the inside and gets it done across the line. Yellow Eye will not lead nearly every lap this time as Momo puts in another fastest lap, shaving nearly half a second off the previous best. Bolt now with a huge lead, hoping that Momo and perhaps Lime can also put some pressure on the Crazy Cat's Eyes and get Yellow Eye to fall backward rather than looking forward. It's not happening right now, though, as the lead is being shaved with every corner. Yellow Eye cutting into it, but is slow out of that penultimate turn, and Bolt is already up the belt. Waspy falling back to 16th, and Drizzle back there in 15th, along with Bumble and Origin. That's around where they started. Bumble was up in 10th, but has fallen back to 14th, not where the Bumblebees had hoped to be. Better than Falls of Chaos, I suppose. The hosts are sitting this one out. Bolt, Yellow Eye, Lime stretching things. And now Lime has a look around the outside, but can't get that one to work. Issuing a stern reminder that somebody else is racing here too. Bolt off into the distance. Momo holding fastest lap. That's worth 1 point. Bolt already captured 1 point this weekend for getting pole position. Through the chicane. Lime seems to have gotten a little bit better exit. And Bolt strong through the 3rd sector. Not so much in the 2nd sector every time, but usually puts it together in the 3rd. That's where several passes have been made, and I would say this lead has come down. It's half a second between our top 2. Off they come, and it's a length apart between them. How does Bolt respond through the banking? Holding decently well. Ooh, a shoulder there stops Yellow Eye completely. And that allows Bolt to get going. That is perfectly legal. They came together there, and I have to think that shook Yellow Eye. Lime gets by, and now have a chance to track down Bolt. And Yellow Eye put it back together We're past the halfway point in this race, but it means there's still quite a few laps to go. Mallard has recovered nicely up to 5th. Then it's Starry, Hazy, Speedy, Hop, and Razzie. Origin climbing up to 11th. Here's a challenge for the lead. Bolt nose to tail with Limelight and another little bump off the wall. Bolt is aggressive in this race. And here comes Yellow Eye. The speed has returned. We'll be pressuring Limelight off the belt as they exit. Nice move there to stay in front, but it's coming undone. Weaving back and forth and diving underneath goes Limelight into 2nd place. Gap was half a second. A couple of laps ago up to Bolt at the front. I would say this is coming down. Usually strong in the 3rd sector is Bolt, but Limelight shadowing every step of the way. They're going to be side by side as they come off the belt. Just a few laps to go, and we've got a new fastest lap, and it goes to Starry. Limelight gets the lead and holds it through the banking. Big gap back to Yellow Eye, who's starting to fall into the clutches of Starry. Then it's Mallard, Momo, Hazy, Speedy, Orangin, and Razzie. Waspy all the way back in 16th. Then it's Prim in front of Waspy. Minty Drizzle, who just qualified, finally. C, Hop, and Bumble. Oh, there's a piece of curb coming loose. You can see that just off the left side of the camera. Yellow Eye, Mallard, Orangin already reported it. We'll have to see if the race organizers will do anything about it. It's just off the racing line, and most marbles are probably going to be able to dodge it, but if it comes undone anymore, it could pose a bit of a danger. You'll see it right there in the center of your screen. It's just peeled off the wall, and it's creating a little chevron, almost an impromptu split. The top 3 are passed. Limelight, Bolt, and Starry now has gotten by. Yellow Eye dropped 2 spots in that last lap. Starry started all the way down in 12th and is trying to make some moves here. Now in the draft of Bolt down the front stretch with 3 laps remaining. Bolt, a better exit off the chicane. Goes to the left, gets by into the lead. Limelight is passed and now falls into 2nd, but tries to come to the left there. They've got to miss that little chevron. That piece of curving so far staying out of the way. Not even a local yellow for it yet. All of the marbles have been notified. Starry holds fastest lap. Hold down the front stretch. Carries some good speed through the chicane. Nice move by Yellow Eye, but an even better move by Hazy. Makes 2 spots on the exit of the chicane and almost makes another coming into the 3rd sector. Now into the final couple of laps. Hazy tries to make a move on Limelight. Can't get that one done. They're going to be very close. Limelight, Starry, and Hazy. Bolt some trouble getting off of the conveyor belt. And that lead is evaporated. Well, we've got a yellow flag now. Yellow flag, the curb is detached even more, and we're going to have a safety marble. It's moved just another centimeter or so to the side, and we will have a safety marble to freeze this race. Hazy, Bolt, Limelight, and Starry, the current runners. Safety marble has been deployed. Well up ahead of the field. Going to try to make that change to the curb before the field gets there. Hazy, well out in front, trying to turn this into a victory. From all the way back in 11th. Here comes the safety marble. Gives it a little push, just barely, almost imperceptible, but that could make all the difference in the world. Hazy's going to come across and wins for the first time this season. The Tumult Turnpike lives up to its name. Hazy from 11th. Bolt loses only 1 spot. He's going to be disappointed with that. Limelight up from 5th. And Mallard makes a great recovery from 2nd. Fell all the way down the order into the top 10, the bottom of it, and has recovered. 25 points to Hazy. Starry gets 1 point for fastest lap. What an ending to this race. Good job by the safety marble to make sure that nothing was interfered with in the final couple of laps. We didn't need to do a red flag. We didn't need to do a restart. Good speed by the safety marble also. It's a hat tip from me. This chicane, it caused some difficulty. Look at Origin. We didn't see that, I don't think, originally. Just getting pinballed and losing loads of positions. This bank turn also. Quite a few different takes on how to navigate it. There's That's where Mallard fell back out of the chicane as well. This is a track that requires a lot of starting and stopping. That chicane arrests all of the momentum coming out of the bank turn, and then you've got the twisty bits in the first sector and the third sector. A nice battle up front also between Bolt and Lime. Yellow Eye was also up there, but look at what this does to the order. The Hazers have jumped 11 spots. Crazy Cat's Eye's lead is still roughly 30. The Bumblebees are up there. Now Thunderbolts move into 4th place. As the teams head north to the Arctic Circle, you'll find that there isn't much more north that you can get as we enter the 6th Grand Prix of the Marbula One season. Hello everybody, I'm Greg Woods. Who can keep their cool the best on this chilly circuit that includes a slalom and an ice bridge? As you can see, 10 turns, 5 to the left, 5 to the right, a little over 12 meters in length. There's a split, the slalom, very different between the turns. It's not a uniform back and forth. We've seen a lot of marbles in qualifying and in Q2 and Q3 in the races have difficulty, especially heading into Sector 3. By the way, check out the new merchandise with the link in the description. 5 Marbles had their best qualifying of the entire season. 5 Marbles also have had 2 weeks off. How will that play a part in their conditioning? Everybody is in the blocks and ready to go. And we're rolling! Billy, a great start as always, as we've come to expect from the Green Ducks. Smoggy and Hazy are right there behind. Clementon in 4th place, getting hounded by Red Eye, who is a perennial favorite among the Crazy Cat's Eyes. Billy had some trouble entering Sector 3 and does again from the qualifiers into the race. Smoggy gets by as we enter the ice bridge for the first time. Billy is not going away. Has some difficulty getting onto the conveyor belt, though, and we've mired in the pack along with the next 5 marbles. Smoggy gets away cleanly. Then it's Billy, Rima, Clementon. Billy gets the lead coming through the first slalom. I'll get back to that order in just a second. Clementon's not going away and makes the same move that was made in qualifying as well. You can tell these marbles are watching each other. How about Ruzzy? Started in 14th and is now up to 2nd place. Tremendous for the Raspberry Racers. These laps ticking by quickly. We've got 18 of them on the docket today. 27.22, the fastest lap from Nemo, will be the one to beat. It's worth a championship point, same that Billy got for qualifying on pole. Speaking of whom, Billy down in 4th with Red Eye, who we thought would be the top 2 marbles, instead falling backwards. And they mount a charge and make it to the front. Nice little move there from Smoggy, who gets 3rd place and holds off Billy by 0.03 of a second as they come up the belt. Rima sets the fastest lap, 26.48, and Ruzzy to the lead coming off the belt. Can he hold it though? No! Around the outside goes Smoggy into the first of the slaloms and takes back P1. Billy trying to get by Clementon, can't do it there on that corner that has perennially proved to be Billy's downfall. The Green Ducks, always great at qualifying and always great at starts, but how do they race? Looking at Billy's results over the course of the year, started 2nd, finished 5th, started 2nd, finished 6th, started on pole today. Where will Billy finish now? In the meantime, Smoggy, Clementon, Ruzzy, Rima are the top 4, then Billy, Red Eye, Ocean, Wispy, Lemon Lime, and Snowy, then Mimo, Clutter, Pulsar, Shock, Cerulean, and Yelle, who is back after a terrifying incident that left Yelle with concussion-like symptoms after falling off the track in qualifying after being bounced off the track, courtesy of a drop. Smoggy up front, still in the lead, but here comes Clementon with a little bit of speed, coming to the inside. And here is a nice little challenge from Ruzzy, who is up 11 spots on the order. Closes in, starting the 3rd sector, and gets by. Will Clementon lose 2 spots on this? Billy tries to be opportunistic, but Clementon gathered back and just across the line, recaptures 2nd place, but it's 1/100th of a second between them. The 3 of them are together coming off the belt, and Clementon gets the better jump. She moves over the split, interestingly, and that may have been the quicker route because Smoggy's lead has evaporated. It's almost equidistant between the top 3. Clementon always strong out of that turn and is now right on the tail of Smoggy over the ice bridge. Thus far hasn't proved to be too difficult for these competitors. Billy still holding in 4th in front of Red Eye. Rima still holding fastest lap of the race. Now Billy gets by into 3rd and will make a heck of a move to take 2nd place, only to lose out on the next turn. Did you see that? The camera was zoomed out. Oh, a hard impact there, and Smoggy is back to 3rd. Ruzzy, Billy, and Smoggy came together. The squeeze and the accordion outward completely changed the leading order of this race, and Ruzzy earned fastest lap in the process. Ruzzy's previous best finish was 11th back at the Aquamaring, didn't even qualify at the Raceway in the second Grand Prix of the season. This would be huge for the Raspberry Racers, who sit down in 15th in the standings with just 16 points across 5 rounds of competition. Smoggy has hit Billy there and left Billy in the dust. It's kind of becoming a 2-marble race past the halfway point. We see several marbles enter the right side of that split, only to just barrel across it as they work their way through it. Here comes Billy! Great move to take the lead from Ruzzy. Late braking, but Ruzzy trying to fight right back. Between the two of them, 1 length. And it's Smoggy and Red Eye. Clementon in 5th, got by Wispy and Ocean. Billy and Ruzzy, as Snowy sets fastest lap, 26:17. That's a good number. Is the track heating up? And is it speeding up as a result? This turn right there has been so many marbles undoing. But Billy, after getting burned on it a couple of times, made it work to perfection to take the lead. And that gap is over 0.8 of a second. Ruzzy, nice exit off of the conveyor belt and across the line. Will do that barrel across, and suddenly find some difficulty from behind, courtesy of Smoggy. Wispy up into 4th place now in front of Clementon. And here goes Ruzzy. Has to throw a block there to keep Smoggy behind. Wispy is entering the fray. Clementon is not too far off. 1.84, gained a whole second on that lap did Billy. And that impact right there sent Smoggy going backward and lost 3 spots. Almost lost more. Ruzzy, Wispy, and Clementon are all right there together. As they impact entering the 3rd sector, coming across the ice bridge, they've sorted themselves out. What is Billy's lead now? It's come down by 1/10. We know Ruzzy is quick. And Cerulean is quicker still. 26:03, shaved 1/10 of a second off the fastest lap. Great move there in the 1st sector by Clementon to get 2nd place. Caught everybody napping. Clementon, nearly napping out of that turn, has allowed Ruzzy to close right in. A bump off of the curbs didn't seem to slow Clementon down at all. Wispy up into 3rd, will keep that spot rather. Where's Billy? Off into the distance, not even in the camera screen. Look at this, already out of Sector 1. Clementon just has a few more laps to try to close this gap. The Rangers, I'm sure, would be happy with a 2nd place. They're sitting down in 16th in the standings behind the Raspberry Racers. A nice 3-marble battle right there. Wispy sees Smoggy drift right by, and will have the lead between the two coming off the belt. Oh, Ruzzy says, I'll have me some of that. And gets by Wispy as well. Tried to do an inside move on Ruzzy. Couldn't get that one to stick. Billy and Clementon well up ahead. Billy more so than Clementon. Billy's already off the ice bridge. Ruzzy and Smoggy. Between the two of them, Smoggy's right by him as they come off the belt. Who gets the better of the jump? And it is Ruzzy. Ruzzy's speed through the 1st sector has eliminated that gap to Clementon. Ruzzy might be on for a 2nd place here on the penultimate lap. Ruzzy looks to the inside. Clementon closes the door. Duck quacks are getting louder. They can feel it. 1 lap to go for Billy. This would be the best finish of the entire season. Could Billy go pole to flag? Didn't lead every single lap, but will lead the ones that matter. Billy into the 3rd sector for the final time. Around the final turn. Green Ducks usually take well to water, but what if it's frozen? Billy says, I don't care. I want to win at the Arctic Circuit. Clementon takes 2nd. Ruzzy fills out the podium in 3rd. Best finish by Ruzzy, and the Raspberry Racers will collect some nice points, as will the O-Rangers, and the Green Ducks, who are sitting in 5th in the standings, are trying to make a statement. Fastest lap goes to Cerulean. After 59 overtakes among the top 5 alone and 7 lead changes. Green Ducks, jubilant on the top step. The Quack Attack fended everyone off today. Red Eye holds the lead in the overall standings, but Billy moves up to 3rd place. That is tremendous. Still, a lot of marbles that have 0 points, but we'll look to fix that next round. This was a very interesting racetrack, and I don't think anybody felt the cold. If you don't want to feel the cold, maybe pick up one of those holiday sweaters. Check it out in our shop. The link is in the video description below as we take a look at some replays. Nice moves coming off the belt. Really, there was no bad place to pass on this circuit either. Everywhere was game. Wispy and Smoggy made some moves. Crazy Cat's Eyes hold the lead, but look at Green Ducks. They jumped 3 spots into 2nd in the overall standings, with Team Momo behind. A Christmas special event, by the way, is coming soon, so subscribe to stay tuned for that. And thanks for watching, everyone. It's hot, it's humid, but who would expect anything less for the Raceforest Grand Prix? Hey everybody, I'm Greg Woods. This is quite a track. After this spade-shaped opening sector, it's been the 2nd sector that has really caught marbles out, if qualifying is anything to go by. But the all-important 3rd sector winds you down the front stretch through those final couple of S's first, and around the 90-degree left-hander to end the lap. There you can see, over 12.5 meters long, average lap time, over 34 seconds across these 18 turns. This is going to be a 15-lap race, and I can tell you those Team Primary fans are rocking with the bongos because they are excited with Rima on pole. And what a job Rima has done. Best qualifying all season after starts of 9th, 10th, and a DNQ. Speedy close behind, then championship leader Red Eye, and Minty Fresh in Minty Fresh's first Grand Prix after 3 straight DNQs. The runners are in the blocks. Who will triumph at the Raceforest Grand Prix, round 7 of the Marbula One season? The lights are on. And we're rolling. Everybody shifts to the right side. Speedy takes the lead. Red Eye also gets by, as does Minty Fresh, and I think Ocean are also passed after a disastrous start by Rima. This is terrible for Team Primary, and Rima is falling back. 6th now and dropping. Comes up into 5th. Red Eye, Speedy, Minty Fresh, Ocean. Bolt also up now into 7th place in front of Yellop and Limelight. Speedy takes the lead heading into the 3rd sector. That is a difficult spot right at that 3rd sector line. Completing the first lap, a good draft by Minty Fresh. Takes 2nd place. It's Speedy, cleanly off the gate. Oh, and a hard hit there for Minty Fresh. Same thing happened to Red Eye in the qualifiers. That is a dangerous part of the track if you're not paying attention. I think marbles are shifting to the right, heading into that first turn, but it happens so quickly. I mentioned in qualifying, this track built on the beach, so the foundations are shifting. This is a rough track, same thing with the walls. I think that's what happens into the third sector also. But having no trouble at all, Speedy. Look at Ocean blocking Red Eye down the front stretch. And Pulsar up into fourth spot, currently fastest lap, gained 7 positions in that lap alone. That's saying something for Pulsar, whose last finishes have been 13th, 7th, 13th, and Pulsar qualified in 14th. Now up into 5th spot. That is tremendous. The lead for Speedy is coming down. Ocean, then Red Eye, Bolt, Pulsar, Waspy, Limelight. Minty Fresh has fallen all the way back to 8th in front of Azure and then Jelle. What's the lead? Coming across here at the end of the lap. And it will be 7/10 of a second. Waspy clocks in the fastest lap as Red Eye goes into second place. And then a gap back to 2 blue marbles, Ocean and Bolt, in front of Waspy. Pulsar moves up into 5th place. Red Eye, a great move out of the first sector to take the lead. Behind those fronds. And it's Red Eye in the expected position of first. Winner back at the Aquamaring. Second place at the Raceway, and a disappointing 8th the last time out at the Arctic Circuit. And look at Red Eye, by almost 1 full second, has carved out a new fastest lap. That was an amazing lap. Speedy, in disbelief, trying to chase. Speedy also put up a decent fastest lap as well, because that gap is about as... Oh, wait a minute! We've got a yellow flag, and Razzie is stuck at the beginning of Sector 2. We're hearing that the safety marble will be deployed in an attempt to dislodge Razzie. This is crazy stuff. Here's Red Eye chasing the safety marble, and there you can see just past that line, will the safety marble dislodge? Yes, great work by this track's safety marble. He's gotten a lot of use so far in this series. The safety marble doing some work. Red Eye in the fray has dropped the lead down quite a bit. Speedy is now just 4 or 5 lengths back as they weave down the front stretch and across the line. 4/10 of a second, then a 3-second gap back to Waspy. Bolt, Ocean, Pulsar, Jelle, and Limelight as we are nearing the midway point of the Raceforest Grand Prix. Taking a look at the racer's eye view on the track from Red Eye. Clear track up ahead, at least for a few corners. And then you've got Razzie. This is a 2-marble race developing thus far, and this is as close as Speedy's been. Through the third sector, fended off nicely by Red Eye. And I think that might have woken Red Eye up. The gap is exactly as it was just a couple of laps ago, 0.45. Not much movement back behind. Oh, and as I say that, Pulsar says, I want a podium, and moves into a clear third spot in front of Bolt. Waspy, Jelle, who's been climbing steadily. Ocean, Snowstorm, who's been quiet. Azure and Honey, same thing to be said there. Red Eye's lead, growing. Down the front stretch. Snowstorm, by the way, started dead last and is up into 8th. What's the lead now? Over 1.5 seconds. Pulsar into third spot is 3.8 seconds behind. Bolt is over 4, Waspy over 5. This first sector, when the marbles are very close, you can see that midfield battle developing into a barn burner here. Shifting by the corner, it seems like. And now everybody holds station, moving through the second and third sector. There's Razzie in dead last, and possibly going to be lapped before the end of this. Red Eye up to 1.8 seconds. Jelle jumps a spot, Azure jumps 3, Waspy plummets 4 under the edge of the top 10. Oh, that move is holding up Red Eye. The blue flags are out. Red Eye not very happy. Can Speedy capitalize? Red Eye is going to attempt once again in the third sector, perhaps? No, backs off. That dirty air is, I think, affecting Red Eye. Speedy says, thank you very much, Razzie. Ooh, almost made the move. And look at the lead. Way down to .2. Just a few laps remaining, and then there's that gaggle of marbles in the mid-pack. Snowstorm up to 6th. Ocean jumps 3 spots up into 5th. Now falls back to 6th. Red Eye can't get the move done. Speedy whizzes by and will now have to deal with Razzie. You wonder if there's going to be a protest at the end of this for Razzie not getting out of the way. But then again, on the end of the lead lap, Razzie is allowed to fight. Speedy uses the draft beautifully and dispatches the 16th place runner. Red Eye now has to get by once again, but Razzie's not going away. Retakes the spot to unlap. Another blue flag being deployed as Speedy has fallen back into the clutches of Red Eye, who's getting a dose of similar medicine. Oh, difficulty there for Red Eye. Falls 8 or 10 lengths back, but a great entry into the 3rd sector, and Red Eye is into the lead once more, with just 3 laps to go. This has given Razzie some breathing room. As we look farther back in the field, it's Speedy, Bolt, Jelle, Pulsar, Azure up a spot, Snowstorm, Waspy, Ocean, and Origin rounding out the top 10. Razzie still holding in 16th place, but Rima, our former pole sitter, is in 15th. What a fall from grace. Good battle developing among the top 2 once again. Speedy is right up on Red Eye. Razzie well out in front. Red Eye weaving back and forth, trying to break the draft. 2 laps to go. Through this first sector, separated by a length, but after that brief contact, Speedy's momentum completely gone. Red Eye gets by Razzie only to be hit. Red Eye is back behind, and Red Eye is not happy. Turning, perhaps the namesake color, after the antics of Razzie, who is again allowed to fight to stay on the lead lap and is doing a momentous job. Final lap, ready to begin. Red Eye's lead is 1.2 seconds. The rest of the field separated by a wide margin behind these top runners. Speedy can see Red Eye in front. Down the backstretch they go as we look at the rest of the field. Red Eye trying not to get caught up with Razzie, but that lets Speedy close in. Into the 3rd sector. Speedy just a few lengths back. The gap is dropping. Onto the front stretch. Weaving around, Red Eye will hold on and capture the win. The second of the season and the first repeat winner of Marbula One. Lime also got stuck. We're hearing, you see the yellow flag out there. Everybody has finished. Checkered flag already waved. No safety marble necessary there. And Razzie does not finish in last, amazingly. But Lime does. That's finishes of DNQ, 14th, 15th, and 16th. By the way, thank you to our patrons on Patreon for making this track possible. And we also want to say, be sure to check the channel to find out the latest rewards that are available. 2 yellow flags in this one, covering over 190 meters. That great fastest lap, 32-second, goes to Red Eye, who also gets the win. A full slate of points, at least on race day, not the 1 point for getting pole position, that went to Rima. But Red Eye and the Crazy Cat's Eyes extend their lead in the overall championship, and Red Eye extends the lead in the individual as well. That had been over teammate Yellow Eye, if that's any marker of domination here. Also want to give a Patreon shout-out. Quote, I was hoping my first shout-out could be a thank you to my husband Pete McGurney, who celebrates my victories, mourns my defeats, and who always has dinner on the table when I get home. That mid-pack battle, I wish we could focus more on that, but the lead was back and forth. So much drama at the front, but look at all of the marbles within just a few lengths of each other. This racetrack actually raced pretty well. Momentary lapses of judgment like that one lead to overtakes, good opportunities for drafting down the backstretch and front stretch, and as a result, the Crazy Cat's Eyes are blowing it away, 128 to 80 over the Thunderbolts, who move into second spot. Savage Speeders are also up 4, as were the Snowballs down in the mid-pack. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Dumplings abound here at the Momotorway, as all of the people in the stands, it seems like, were in line to get some dumplings. And I was one of them a little while earlier. But as it is, on the sand and on the track are going to be two very different places. While youngsters are playing off to the side, on the actual surface of the Momotorway, it's going to be an all-out brawl. Yellow captures the first pole position ever in the entire illustrious career in front of one of the championship contenders, Yellow Eye. It's going to be a great battle between the two of them, and I'm glad you're here with us. Hey everybody, I'm Greg Woods. As we take a look at this track, which students of marble history may remember, gave us a 500th of a second difference at the line last year when Clutter beat Prim to the victory. As it is right now, who will navigate this 180-degree left-hander right off the line and take the lead in this race? We're about to find out. Lights are on. And we're rolling! A better start for Yellow Eye, who shoots into the lead, but Yellow is close behind, not letting him get away at all. They almost have a look right there as they first go into the split through this second sector, and Yellow takes the lead, only for it to switch back to Yellow Eye over the speed boost, off to the far hairpin, where Yellow retakes the lead. Come down to these two right-handers. Such speed that they will see here at the Momotorway, and the first opening gap is 1/10 of a second. A great jump there by Snowy, and that is a great launch up into second place as a result. Then it's Yellow Eye. Mallard comes up into fourth place, who fought in this race last year. Hop beats out Clutter, Lemon Lime, Hazy, C, and Clementon back there to round out the top 10. Clementon was another one who was battling for the lead last year at this Grand Prix. Yellow, the lead over Snowy now as Yellow Eye finds an unfamiliar situation. But look at this battle coming up on the ramp. A 4-marble race, and it's even more than that. Everybody splits to the side. Hop comes out of nowhere, and believe it or not, the Jungle Jumpers are in the lead. That is unbelievable right now. Coming off of so many races where they did not even qualify, all of a sudden, Hop has come to fight. Hazy also making a good move into second place in front of Clutter, who a lot of eyes were going to be on Clutter. Hazy takes the fastest lap, up 6 spots in that one alone, but a fantastic launch off of the ramp shoots Yellow back up to the lead. Clutter, Hazy, Hop, Mallard, Yellow Eye all the way down to 8th now, falling. Gets 1 spot back, up into 6th. This mid-pack battle, just like it was in the previous race, is anybody's game. Side by side, down that straightaway, heading onto the front stretch. 3 spots up, Yellow into the lead, 5 gain for Clementon. And Yellow Eye, continuing to make the moves, coming back, fell down to 8th spot, and is now up into 3rd. Fighting for a podium, but still so much of this race to go, you'd have to think with Crazy Cat's Eye's form of late, this could very well be a chance for a win. Look at that gap, though. It may seem unbelievable. Now, Hop, in the meantime, is falling backward. Look at this, 11th place. A terrible outing. Did Hop expend all of the potential energy that Hop had for just 1 or so laps? Yellow starting to see some pressure coming from Clutter. Both go to the inside. Now a length between them. They move to the outside of the second split. Both glance the speed boost and find some separation heading into the far hairpin. Onto the front stretch. Nice draft there. Cerulean couldn't make that move stick, though. Farther back in the field, Cerulean rounds out the top 10. Yellow and Clutter are locked together once again. Clutter has plenty of experience in this position. Yellow, not so much. Drafting each other. Tries to go to the outside, but they get too physical and can't get that one done. Still shadowing. Clutter down the front stretch. Can't do that over-under either, but they're going to be side by side coming up the belt. Yellow has the inside line. Who gets the better launch? They come together, and Clutter into the lead. After that initial impact between them, Clutter is leaving Yellow in the dust. Now Yellow Eye wants to pounce as well. Nemo up into 4th, by the way. Nemo coming all the way up from dead last. And the home fans have to be happy with that if Nemo can hold it. 1 step between them, Clutter and Yellow. And Yellow Eye. Ooh, Yellow Eye's speed comes nearly to a stop after some contact with Yellow in the first sector. That snaky start to this lap really mixes these marbles up. Now Yellow Eye having to defend from Nemo. And then a good train there. Clementon moves in, can't get that one. Yellow Eye defends the spot. Nemo and Clementon are both looking very racy. We are past the halfway point in this race at the Momotorway, if you're just joining us, in the second season of Marbula One. Ooh, they hit that attenuator and split them wide. And now Mallard is battling with Nemo. The Green Ducks have been absent at the front of this race, bar a couple of laps. I would love to get back up there. Clutter's lead over Yellow is 1.12. Yellow Eye sets the fastest lap of the race. You know the Crazy Cat's Eyes are going to be coming at some point. When will they make their move? And right there into second place. Yellow Eye goes around the outside. Just disrupts the clean air of Yellow. Trying to get Yellow out of sorts, although this part of the track is a fast one. It's not as technical as the first sector. The lead now has come down. 0.67 seconds. Yellow Eye stalking Clutter, the winner of this race last year and a veritable expert at the Momotorway, but has trouble coming through the split. Yellow Eye's right there to the inside, and Yellow Eye takes the lead. The Crazy Cat's Eyes are out for blood. They want to win the overall championship in Marbula One with races to spare. And they break the home curse. That may still be coming, of course, for Crazy Cat's Eyes. They're not worried about that right now. They are trying to win this race as the top three have really come together, or should I say, stayed with each other. Yellow Eye, Clutter, Yellow, Clementon, Mallard in the top five. Then Hazy, Nemo, Snowy, Wispy, and C. Hop, Starry, Lemon Lime, Cerulean, Minty Drizzle, and Rapidly all the way at the back. Just 0.3 of a second between Yellow Eye and Clutter. As we've seen, Crazy Cat's Eyes are experts at winning races from the front. Will they be able to hold on in this one? Different lines being taken out, both of the top two. All the top three take the speed boost as they head to the far hairpin. That battle for second place is heating up. Clutter and Yellow locked together onto the front stretch. Yellow Eye comes across, now over a half a second lead with just a few laps remaining. Hazy and Nemo gain some spots. Mallard has plummeted to the bottom of the top 10. Yellow Eye's lead, is it insurmountable? If you've watched any Marbula One, you would know it is not. And Clutter wants to make that known for sure. 5 or 6 lengths behind. Good battle there between Wispy and Snowy. As we take a look back up at the front, we're into lap 16. Off the belt, a bump off the wall. Good move there, Clutter, to hold off Yellow. All three, I was going to say all three take that split, but instead, Yellow rides the attenuator halfway down before choosing a side. Not the fastest move to make. Yellow Eye holds fastest lap. Could net near maximum points, did not get the point for pole position. As we head to the penultimate lap. Clutter can see Yellow Eye up ahead. When is the move going to be made, or is there going to be a move made? A nice battle there between Hazy, Snowy, Wispy, and Nemo, all a few lengths apart. But just a couple of laps to go. What's happening up front with Yellow Eye already onto the front stretch? Coming around, this is fairly close. 0.38 seconds between them. The gap back to Yellow is not that important. Instead, the top two are going to be duking it out around this 12.05 meter lap toward the finish and the eventual win at the Momotorway. Yellow Eye's lead is growing. Clutter, it appears, did not have the energy to get up there, but Yellow Eye has some to spare and wins at the Momotorway. Yellow comes third to round out the podium. Oh, and C at the end gets fastest lap. They did take a point from the Crazy Cat's Eyes. That's Clementon up in fourth. Hazy, Wispy, Nemo, Snowy. Oh, Rapidly, not living up to the name there. Well behind, 8 seconds clear of the next marble. No yellows, no reds in this one, except for the racer itself. Chaos fans are pretty happy. Clutter, in doing this, this second place finish, becomes the first marble to podium twice at the same track. Clutter would love to be on that top step of the podium, celebrating with the trophy and the champagne. But as has so often been the case, the Crazy Cat's Eyes are hard to beat. Now the question is, who will be the individual champion? It's becoming a runaway between Red Eye and Yellow Eye. Teammates, of course. This split seemed a bit more chaotic last year. but it still threw some curveballs to these marbles in this race. Nice inside move right there. C and Cerulean were racy at times, those blue marbles. And battle up front, and look at this. Red Eye and Yellow Eye separated by 3 points. Bolt is also hanging in there. As we take a look at the bottom of the course rapidly, still on 0, along with Lemon Lime and Hop. Skip got a point, but still, tall mountain to climb. When you look at the overall team championship, 153 to 82, that is unbelievable. The bottom from 11 down cannot win the championship, but several can make the top 3. Find out who takes the next step in the next outing of Marbula One. Any artist will tell you that when you combine the 3 additive primary colors, anything is possible. And so it goes here at Palette Park as the crowd watches the namesake, the same team primary, descend with Mary down the Tri-Tower, which they built in honor of hosting this round of Marbula One. Hey everybody, I'm Greg Woods. You can see the Palette Park circuit stretching out beneath us, including a new barrier over at Turn 5, which was put in place because of the aggressiveness of some of the marbles in qualifying, getting high up on those curbs, and the organizers felt it best to err on the side of safety, lest anyone go launching off of the track. It won't slow anybody down, which could be good or bad, because we saw sub 14-second laps in qualifying. Lights are on. And we're rolling! Tumult goes to the lead and moves to the outside. Yelle responds from pole position after dropping back and is now closing right back in with Smoggy, Ruzzy, Pulsar, Orangin, and Skip right behind. Now a gap developing from Tumult back, just a half a second lead. Look at Red Eye down there in dead last, an unusual position with a crazy cat's eyes. Now Pulsar moves up into second place. It's a 4-marble race between them as they drop into the bank turn. Phenomenal speed heading into the far hairpin. It's Pulsar up front, and a shot between Tumult and Smoggy as they come up the belt. Who gets the better launch? It is Smoggy. All of them go to the inside, putting a defensive line out of Sector 1. Into the far hairpin they come. Tumult's lead has stretched somewhat. They're stretching out all of them between the top 3. Then it's a team of marbles from 4th on back, including, yes, your eyes are not deceiving you, Skip from the Jungle Jumpers, running in 4th place. Yelle, now into 4th, is trying to recover. Speed into the hairpin from Smoggy. Can't get that one done. Will there be a switchback up the line? No. Smoggy sits about a 1/10 of a second back, but Yelle has responded with fastest lap and goes into 2nd place. They split the attenuator between them, but Yelle can't keep the speed up through the drop and the bank turn. Ooh, a shot off of the wall completely stops Yelle's momentum and falls into the clutches of the midfield marbles as they come back up the ramp again. A tough time there. It looked like was developing for Tumult coming off of that belt. And look at Speedy, now into 2nd place for the Savage Speeders. Will they be able to close up front and try to get up there to Tumult? Yelle doing a good blocking job as Tumult actually puts fastest lap in response. You wondered if that pressure was coming? Well, Tumult feels it, and Tumult can see it now because the Savage Speeders are right there. What does Speedy do? Puts on a slick move and gets the lead. As they exit that lap, a 23-lap race, we're about a 1/3 of the way through it. Almost left me speechless there. Ooh, Waspy plummeting like a stone there. Difficulty through that first sector, but it's Speedy up front with clear sailing. What can Tumult do to try to get back up there? Smoggy in 3rd place in front of Skip, Rima, Azure, Yelle, Waspy, Pulsar dropped 6 spots in that lap, and Orangin from the Orangers. Ooh, Yelle having that same sort of problem that we saw a moment ago with the Midnight Wisps. Yelle plummeting down to 11th now. Speedy's lead is 2.4 seconds. That's pretty amazing on a track like this. Look at behind there, Tumult. Smoggy battling. Smoggy gets in front. Oh, there you see up on top there. We just saw it off the camera. Timing and scoring showed the update, and now Smoggy is going to try to track down Speedy. Has a few laps to do it, but again, these are only 14, 15-second laps, so you have to be quick. Red Eye, in the meantime, is not moving. Got off that last spot, yes, but has been stuck in 15th throughout. Great move there. Azure getting to the inside of Orangin through that far hairpin. There's Speedy, decides to go to the outside of that split. As we look back and see the gaps to the rest of the field, Waspy has recovered very nicely up into 2nd place. Tumult, who still holds fastest lap, could use a couple more to try to cut into that lead, which sits at 0.8 of a second over Waspy. I think Speedy could see Waspy coming off the belt, so went to the inside there just to be safe. Is that the right way to go when you have a battle like that? Oh, nice one there between Skip, Momo, and Origin, rather. Smoggy, in the meantime, is sitting in 5th spot and lost a position to Rima. Midnight Whiffs go to the inside, now move to the outside. The two of them are right together. This is a battle for the lead of the race with under 10 to go. 4 or 5 lengths between them as they come across the line. 2/10 on the clock. Rima goes up another spot into 3rd place. Tumult sitting back in 4th. They split on each side. Speedy holding the lead, but keeping tabs on what the Midnight Wisps are doing. I'm sure the strategists are wondering what the best course of action is going to be to close in on the end of this race. 0.3 of a second. Tumult back up into 3rd place in front of Rima. Azur in 5th has jumped up 2 spots. Waspy into the lead, and that was from dead last. Waspy just barely was holding on to the rest of the field, and now is leading this Grand Prix by nearly 2 seconds. Tumult still has the fastest lap somehow, but Waspy, through sheer determination and persistence, has climbed back up there. Red Eye has gotten another spot in the meantime. The championship leader may not hold on to that for much longer if these sorts of finishes continue. Look at all the marbles bunched up on that conveyor belt. Speedy with some speed to the inside and takes the lead once again. Might have needed a couple of laps just to cool and calm down. Waspy probably running on fumes at this point, but still has quite a few laps to go. 4, although that only leads to a couple of minutes of race time at most. Smoggy and Tumult are fairly close as well for that final podium spot. And then several are battling back and forth. Azur gets up into 4th and may have a go another lap or so at Tumult. Lead up front for Speedy, who has responded beautifully. I wouldn't say he's unassailable yet. We've seen how one wrong step can put you several seconds adrift through the 1st sector, and of course if you bump anywhere else, maybe midway through that 2nd sector as well, that can lead to disaster. But Speedy is trying to put in a good recovery here. These Savage Speeders have had a difficult time and are sitting in 9th in the overall standings. Speedy, of course, is one of just 2 marbles who has gotten a pole and a win at the same weekend. Also got a 2nd place and a 2nd place. That was back at the Raceforest. The wins were at Honeydome. Look to add another victory. Just a couple laps to go, but Waspy says not so fast and takes the lead. We've got a blue flag. Lime is getting in the way of Waspy, who has completely flipped the tables on Speedy. What happened there? Maybe Waspy did have more in the tank. As they come around that final turn, heading across the line, it's going to be very close between them, but by 0.9 of a second, the clock strikes midnight at Pallet Park, and the Midnight Wisps stand again on the top step of the podium. This was a crazy one. Look at how far behind Limelight and Ruzzy are, by the way. A full lap almost. But no lead was safe. The fastest lap goes to Waspy. Now, last season, you may remember, Waspy went from pole to last. In this case, did the opposite, was in last and recovered all the way to 1st and looks completely gassed on the podium, too. The Savage Speeders have to be happy with that performance, hoping to get them farther up the team standings. It could have been much more. Speedy had several 2nd leads on a few occasions, just couldn't finish it. I think with the trajectory that Waspy's race went, there is no denying that marble. Just like the consistent run that we saw from Smoggy, who's in 3rd. There was the finish, so close between them. I wonder if Waspy was excited at the end and kind of forgot that a Savage Speeder was bearing down. Lime and Ruzzy fighting for dead last. And you can see Crazy Cat's Eye's lead. They are in good shape. They have clinched a final podium spot, but only the top 4 marble teams can still win the overall championship. How does it pan out from here? We'll have to find out next time here in Marbula One. Thanks for watching, everyone. For years, sports fans wondered whether the mythical Misty Mountain actually existed. But fast forward to this year, and the Hazers play gracious hosts to Marbula One. Hey everybody, I'm Greg Woods. The Hazers fans are thrilled for this. Some of the other marbles are wondering when the mist is going to clear. who knows, around this 9-turn circuit. 18 laps await for what should be an interesting Grand Prix. Clutter captures the Balls of Chaos' first pole of the entire season. The Bumblebees are very close behind. This could be anybody's race, especially for the Bumblebees, a team that has 3 DNQs between the 2 teammates. In the blocks, ready to go. Who will capture the Misty Mountain Grand Prix? And we're rolling! Clutter moves to the outside, then back to center, and blocks the rest of the field while holding on to the top spot. Bubble loses out on second place, and Wispy comes from 4th to lead the race down the backstretch for the first time. This is a fantastic start and a continuance of a great race for the Midnight Wisps after Waspy came from last to first in the previous Grand Prix. What does it look like here? A half a second lead for Wispy coming up the belt. Mimo has also jumped a couple of spots, as has Mallard. Up front, we also see a battle developing between the 2nd and 3rd place marbles. That's Mimo now, and Clutter. Mimo dispatched of Clutter and moves to the inside, drafting down the backstretch, and has taken the lead. Everybody moving to the inside on this split, some going to the outside this time as they try to mix some things up. You see the championship as it stands right now. 54 points is the magical number for Crazy Cat's Eyes. If they exit this race with a bigger lead than that, they are your season champions overall. Yellow Eye, though, sits in last place. It's been downward for the Crazy Cat's Eyes over the last few Grand Prix. After winning at Raceforest and the Momotorway, they have since had finishes of 13th and a qualification of 13th heading into this one. Good moves being made by Cerulean, who moves up 3 spots into 2nd place and is now just a few lengths back. But here comes Bumble, riding up on the curves. A nice move there in the first sector to take that 2nd spot. Clutter falling back to 4th spot. Wispy back to 5th. Nemo put in the fastest lap, by the way, I neglected to say, at the end of that last lap, in part to get the lead. But for how much longer? Wispy does gain 1 spot back. Hop is up a couple of spots, as is Snowy farther down the order. Cerulean takes the lead through the first sector and tries to stretch it here. Bumble, Nemo, Clutter, Wispy, Mallard, rapidly Hop, Lemon Lime, and Hazy rounding out the top 10. That's good for the Hazers, by the way, to be knocking on the door of the top 10 as Cerulean resets fastest lap, but Bumble gets the better coming off of the belt. As I finish that thought here in just a moment, it is Bumble leading out of the first sector in front of Cerulean, then a decent gap back to Mimo and a racy-looking Wispy in front of Rapidly and Clutter. Hazers just barely got into this race. They were in the relegation zone before a poor lap sent them 1 spot up above the bubble, and they made it, qualified dead last. But the hosts are climbing 9th place right now after gaining another spot. Clutter stuck in the safety marble lane, it looks like, just on the far right side. I'm hearing from race control. Got a bit antsy coming off of the belt. What's happened over there? I'm not sure Clutter is out yet. We have a great lead battle developing here. But can we see up there? Yeah, look at the upper, look right below the counter there. Clutter is still stuck. That is disaster. And I'm not sure that the race control is able to get Clutter out of that. I believe the rules say that they cannot interfere. If a racer has put themselves in that position, the racer has to figure out how to get out of it. We'll have to see. Bumble and Cerulean still lead the field by a pretty good gap. Nearly, actually over a second and a half. Mallard now up into the 5th spot. Wispy has dropped to 6th. Oh, Hazy's fallen 3 spots out of the top 10, and we have a pass for the lead. Cerulean got by, but Bumble is not giving up. Oh, a hard impact there. Bumble's come to a stop. We have a yellow flag. Bumble stuck at turn 6, and that was a hard jolt. I hope Bumble's okay. And let's see, I believe the safety marble is going to be deployed, which means that Clutter is going to be freed. That is amazing. There you can see Bumble just missed. Oh, we've got a stoppage as well. Was that Clutter? I think Clutter has stopped too. Oh, there's that jarring impact between them. Let's get back to the actual race, though. I believe Clutter, along with the safety marble, is stuck there. Yes, indeed. Clutter is right beside. I believe the safety marble is being re-racked now and redeployed. The marshals are investigating what is going to happen here. Cerulean, in the meantime, is leading this race in front of Nemo. All kinds of things have happened here. Bumble down. Oh, it was missed by the safety marble. Oh my gosh, this is a developing situation right now. We don't want others to be stranded, and hopefully somebody else will help to dislodge these two marbles. They're slightly off of the racing line. As the gap up front, Cerulean leads by over 3 seconds, but the safety marble right in tow and actually trying to overtake, yes, to clear the field out in front. Doesn't want the leader to be interfered with. Just barely glances the two, but they remain on the inside at the apex. Safety marble desperately trying to keep ahead and clean this up. Safety marble moves to the inside, now launches out again. That lets Cerulean get some clean air. And this is also letting Nemo close up. What a bizarre situation. A prolonged yellow flag with these marbles stuck. When another glancing blow, and they've decided that's enough. A few attempts, we have a red flag. Race will be resumed with a standing start. And we will revert to the position that the marbles were in. I'm surprised they let it go that long, actually. Usually the safety marble is so good at picking those marbles off and getting them going again. But after a couple of attempts, the committee decided, let's clean things up, make sure everybody is safe. Here's the incident, if you're just joining us, that precipitated this. A terrible angle heading into that as Bumble just planned on staying straight instead of making that turn. And then there's Clutter, who was released along with the safety marble, getting all kinds of problems there. And all right, we are reset, ready to go. Just a few laps remain in this race, and what an odd one it has been. We are rolling again, and Nemo can't clear Cerulean. In fact, rapidly clears everybody, gets up into second place, and is trying to get by Cerulean for the lead. Rapidly, who's had a terrible season in qualifying and racing. As they clear out from the backstretch. Nice dive bomb move there for Starry to get into second place. Starry hasn't been anywhere over the course of this Grand Prix, but rapidly, outside-inside move, takes the lead, coming up the gun by 0.05 of a second. 4 laps to go, and it's Mallard out of nowhere, briefly taking the lead. And rapidly says, not so fast, my duck friend. Cerulean back to third, as fast as lap. Hazy for the hosts is up into fourth, make that third, and trying to hold on. Goes to the inside. Mallard around the outside, can't make that one stick though. Had some speed, but couldn't carry it on the exit. You see the championship standings there. 98 points to 155. Remember, we need to be 54 for Crazy Cat's Eyes to claim the championship. Hazy takes the lead out of the first sector, but Rapidly responds well, as Rapidly has every single challenge so far. But Hazy goes to the inside and gets the lead. The Hazers try to break the host curse and win their home Grand Prix. 0.3 of a second as they come off the belt. Hazy with some good speed, but Rapidly is a touch quicker. So is Starry back in third place. Mallard hanging in fourth, letting these three battle amongst themselves, hoping to be opportunistic and catch a mistake, and nearly did on Starry there. It does, coming out of that turn 6 complex where he had those two marbles stalled earlier. This has let Hazy head well up into the distance, over a second lead. Mallard up into third. What can Rapidly do to close in on the Hazers? Savage Speeders need a good points haul. Mallard for the Green Ducks. Green Ducks have been pretty consistent over the course of this season, but have struggled in the previous 2 Grand Prix. In the meantime, well back behind, you can see the Snowballs still having some difficulty getting anything going on this season as it's snowy. Getting into the final lap. Hazy up front. 2 lengths back from Mallard is Rapidly. The top 3 are lockstep between them. This is anybody's race. Mallard up into second place, and then the Hazers kick it into a second gear down the backstretch. Just 2 turns to go. Everybody goes to the inside. It'll be a draft down the front stretch. Hazy wins it. Mallard gets by 0.05 of a second over Rapidly. Then it's Starry and Cerulean rounding out the top 5 for a chaotic Misty Mountain Grand Prix. 15 spots gained. From qualifying dead last, Hazy is the champion for this round and in the people's eyes as well. But this is only part of the puzzle, the winner of this particular Grand Prix. And what a Grand Prix it was, by the way. We also want to say for our Patreons, the Snowballs would like to send a shout out to one of their biggest fans, Audrey Vietti, age 6. She's become such a big Yellow Marbleruns fan, she's building her own runs at home. Thanks for being such an enthusiastic fan, Audrey. This was a 3-marble battle that turned into a 5-marble race heading down the front stretch. And here are the overall standings for the individual championship. 3 points. Red Eye is clear of Yellow Eye, then it's Speedy. But if we look at the overall championship for the teams, where does it stand? Crazy Cat's Eyes have clinched a podium, but look at that gap. It is not 54. The championship moves on for another round. Will the Crazy Cat's Eyes clinch it at our next Grand Prix? Subscribe to find out. Thanks for watching, everyone. At times this season, a Crazy Cat's Eye championship has seemed like an inevitability, but this weekend, it can become a reality. With 2 of the top 4 challenging teams well down the order, the task falls on the Savage Speeders to keep Crazy Cat's Eyes from winning everything. But it's Red Eye, once again on pole position in front of rival Speedy, with Ocean, Prim, Shock, and Snowstorm rounding out the first 3 rows. Back at the Savage Speedway, where the Savage Speeders would love to see their host team get a win. And we're rolling! Will it happen? It's a bad start for the Savage Speeders. They've fallen all the way to 4th place. Ocean and Shock both get by as they hit the drop for the first time. Speedy trying to make some sort of a comeback after that poor start, while Red Eye dances off into the distance, but not insurmountably so. Minty Drizzle up into 4th place, along with Prim, Shock, Yellop, Starry, Clementon, and Momo rounding up the top 10 as we come through the final turn for the first time. A 15-lap race, and it's fairly close right up at the front. Briefly, Ocean gets hard into the wall, letting Minty Drizzle go to the inside, but that's the slower way around. The Minty Maniac's Marble loses positions. Red Eye still holds at the front of the field, but it's Ocean now in 2nd place, with Red Eye desperate to get by, knowing every point could count. And they would also need some help from Crazy Cat's Eyes falling down the order for this championship to stay alive. Starry notches the fastest lap, 27.74, as Minty Drizzle gets the jump off the conveyor belt into 2nd place. Prim wants to have a go as well, and does! A great entry onto the backstretch out of that drop. Gets Prim in 2nd place, with eyes up ahead on the Cats. 1 length apart between them. Red Eye goes to the inside, weaves back to the outside. Ooh, they impact as they come up the conveyor belt. That gives some separation and thus breathing room for Red Eye. Perhaps over-enthusiastic was Prim, trying to close in on the championship leaders. Ocean still holds in 3rd place. Then it's a gap back to Minty Drizzle. Speedy's fallen back to 5th and maybe falling into the clutches shortly of Smoggy. Starry, Shock, Yellop, and Billy round out the top 10. Of course, Billy from the Green Ducks, one of those championship contenders, seeing it all slip away. Oh, this is going to be good coming up the conveyor belt between those 2. Speedy with a nice jump to start the lap, holding on to 3rd place now. Ocean with the fastest lap of the Grand Prix thus far, but is well behind Red Eye. This has been a fantastic performance, except for that brief duel between Prim. Red Eye has not been challenged at all. Farther back in the order, Shock, Clementon, Snowstorm, Ruzzy, Honey, and Lemon Lime fill out the bottom of the order. As they come around here, Ocean is gapping the rest of the field with Speedy close in 3rd place. But is anybody going to be able to catch up to Red Eye? Is this going to be a championship-winning performance? If it is, deservedly so with the way it's gone through the first half of this Grand Prix. Prim getting by Minty Drizzle on the front stretch, closing in so slightly on Speedy, but it's a 2.5-second lead for Red Eye. Ocean and Speedy close together. Several sets of marbles paired off 2 by 2 as they begin the S's in the far corner of the circuit. The Savage Speedway, no stranger to drama and Marbula One action. Lemon Lime Honey back there, disappointed with where they are running, but so too are the Raspberry Racers. This lead continuing to build for Ocean, for Red Eye, over Ocean rather. Only 3 seconds now. Is anybody going to be able to make some moves here? Green Ducks have been trying to climb the order. Billy up into 8th place right now. Minty Drizzle's fallen back to 7th. Momo down there in 12th. That's a Bit of a surprise. And what is this lead going to be? Goodness, 3.8 for Red Eye. Getting in toward the final third of this race, just running testing laps almost. Red Eye can ease back slightly and still have a huge lead, but this is Marbula One. That's sometimes easier said than done. Ocean still holds on to the fastest lap, and we haven't seen too many marbles surpass that. You wonder if the track evolution is trending away from speed. Red Eye is certainly the epitome of consistency, so that's not falling away. Still 3.8 seconds is the gap from first to second. Snowstorm, Momo in a bit of a battle. Snowstorm now gets by Clementon into 11th spot. Then it's Jelle up ahead in 10th, Shock in 9th, Billy, Minty, Drizzle, Speedy in 6th, and Starry rounding out the top 5 behind Smoggy and Prim and Ocean, who you see on your screen right now. Comes across the line, and it's a nearly 5-second lead for Red Eye. What a performance. This is going to be one of the larger margins if it stays like this. Red Eye, second place at the O Raceway, winner at the Aquamaring, second place qualifier at the Arctic Circuit, third place qualifier and first place finisher at the Raceforest, an uncharacteristic Grand Prix at Pallet Park. 15th in qualifying, 13th in the race, but now Red Eye is blasting the field 5 seconds clear of anybody. Who is going to make that move to round out the podium? Thus far, it's just been Ocean and Prim fighting between them, but Starry wants a piece of the action with just 3 laps to go. Doesn't look like Speedy has it in the tank. Hey, there we go. We have a new fastest lap, and who else would it be but our leader, Red Eye? Nearly 7-second lead at this point. If there's any notion of exhaustion in Red Eye's body, the prospect of a championship is pushing it away. Red Eye down the front stretch, the only marble in the third sector at this point. Crosses the line, 2 laps to go. And we just cannot say enough about the Crazy Cat's Eye's domination for this entire season. There's some good movements farther back behind. Snowstorm is up another couple of spots into the top 10. Billy has fallen down. Speedy started on 2nd and is now back to 6th. Nobody is making the moves. Nobody is doing what needs to be done to try to catch the Crazy Cat's Eyes. And even if they were, it wouldn't be enough as, Smoggy gets well out of sorts, coming through the curbs, on the curbs, out of that penultimate turn. Final lap. Red Eye into the distance. Will not lap Lemon Lime, but will have the moment all to Crazy Cat's Eye selves. Down the front stretch Red Eye comes, and around the final turn to win. They weren't even in Marbula One a year ago. Curiosity brought them to the sport, and now the Cats are world champions. Starry comes across in 2nd place. That's a good recovery, but 8 seconds down on our championship winners. Ocean in 3rd, then Prim and Smoggy. Speedy couldn't get it done, nearly 10 seconds behind. This is how it all began, and it all started to unravel for the Savage Speeders. But even if they had stayed close, look at that gap. 26 points after capturing fastest lap as well. And you add in the point for pole position, and that becomes the maximum amount of points that a marble can gain in an entire weekend. And, by my unofficial math, Red Eye was leading the individual championship as well coming into this race. So you capture the maximum points with 1 to go, and that guarantees that Red Eye is your individual Marbula One champion as well. No matter what Yellow Eye does, well done. Congratulations to the Crazy Cat's Eyes, our champions of the 2nd season of Marbula One. A special shout out goes to Ethan Anderson. Ethan is a government records archivist and trivia whiz from Topeka, Kansas, a couple states over from mine, and is a huge Jelle's Marbleruns fan. Thanks for watching, Ethan. And thank you all for watching. 1 Grand Prix to go. Still up for grabs are the podium spots. Who will get it and in what order? Tune in to find out. Thanks for watching, everyone. After a shock qualifying that saw Cerulean take the first pole position of Cerulean's entire career, we come here to round out the second season of Marbula One at a familiar final circuit, Midnight Bay. Hey everybody, I'm Greg Woods. 15 turns on this nearly 13-meter circuit, 6 to the right and 9 to the left, facing 15 laps ahead of us, with 7 teams that are still able to make those final 2 spots on the podium behind our guaranteed overall champions, Crazy Cat's Eyes. Cerulean, a marble that is one of 9 who have never won in Marbula One, and a handful more have just not won this season. Who will capture the final race? And we're rolling! Cerulean dives into the first turn and keeps the lead over Clutter just barely. Razzie is right there as well before a small gap back to the rest of the field. But it's Cerulean away cleanly, some great moves farther back behind. Yellow is trying to move up the order, as is Snowy up into 5th place. Clutter and Razzie holding each other off, trying to battle for 2nd spot, but shooting around the outside is Minty Fresh, a marble that has the most DNQs of anybody in the field with 3 today. Up the belt they come, Minty Fresh. Oh, look at Snowy up 7 spots. That's a tremendous start. Snowy now tries to hold off the Minty Maniac's runner. Cerulean's lead has come down. Razzie just a couple of lengths back behind. Clutter is also fairly close as the top 3 stretch off into the distance inside the tunnel. Out they come onto the backstretch. Cerulean looking for that good entry through the final couple of corners. Onto the front stretch, they bounce off in unison from side to side. The lead just under 4/10 of a second. Good moves there. Rapidly, who sets fastest lap at a 30.86 en route to 4th place. Razzie takes the lead off the belt and has a huge lead out of the first sector. That was a great belt exit as we were marveling over Rapidly coming up 4 spots. Of course, it was Rapidly's teammate who won this race 1 season ago. Off into the distant part of the course. Onto the front stretch. Razzie's lead is a big one. Over half a second. As Yellow Eye pips the fastest lap. Yellow Eye did not make it to Q2, but did not get knocked out altogether, even though it was fairly close for the Crazy Cat's Eyes. They don't want to be seen as lifting their foot off the gas heading into this final race. Even though they are guaranteed champions, Yellow Eye up into 7th place. Minty Fresh is now behind Yellow Eye, falling down the order in 8th. Green Duck's Mallard is back in 9th, now back into 10th as Nemo gets by. Razzie's lead, fairly consistent with what it was, but the gap widening from Cerulean back to Clutter. Then Rapidly hop up into 5th place. Another one of those marbles seeking the first ever win in Marbula One. But we'll have some work to do. Look at this battle up front. Oh, a hard hit onto the curbs. Cerulean is nearly stopped and has just enough wherewithal to get going again. But that was nearly disaster for the Cobalts. Fantastic defending by Razzie got Cerulean up onto the curbs and nearly lost all speed. But Cerulean has battled back, holding 2nd place. Minty Fresh has jumped up 3 spots now, and now another spot into 2nd place. The Minty Maniacs want their first win. Closing up by the corner on Razzie. Minty Fresh is trying to make the move. Through the tunnel they come. Out onto the backstretch. Where do they shake out? It is still Razzie in front. Cerulean is fighting back now, along with Clutter. This is becoming a 5-marble race, as Rapidly is also right there through the final turn. A 1/4 of a second separating the top 2, 3/10 separating the top 3. Cerulean gets by into 2nd place. After that near disaster, this is still a 3-marble race. They all come together. Nice move there by Minty Fresh to take 2nd place, but Cerulean doesn't want to go quietly. Yellow Eye's fallen back to 11th place in the meantime as we look farther down the field. Pulsar in dead last. An interesting dynamic between Pulsar, who's lost more spots than anybody, compared to teammate Starry, who's the best gainer of anybody in the entire season. Nemo takes fastest lap, 2 1/4 seconds off the lead, but trying to cut into it down in 6th. Razzie has gotten some breathing room, but it's still a 3-marble race between Minty Fresh, Cerulean, and Rapidly in the top 4. Hop falling back to 7th place. C in 8th, Snowy in 9th, Orange in 10th, and it's Mallard, Yellow, Yellow Eye, Bumble, Hazy, and Pulsar. Hazy is the best gainer among all of the marbles racing this weekend, but is losing that down in 15th. 1 second lead for Razzie. Oh, another curb issue for Minty Fresh. falls back to 4th place at the same time as rapidly getting by Cerulean. Lots of things changing now. Mimo back in 5th, locked in a duel with Clutter. Then a big gap back to Hop. But rapidly for the Savage Speeders is looking racy. Down the front stretch, cutting into that lead for Razzie. Cerulean doesn't want to give up either as we enter the final third of this race and a final 5 laps of the season. Rapidly gets fastest lap. Oh, it has a great move there to go around the outside. Rapidly has taken the lead. That was superb. In a flash, the Savage Speeders are back in front. Rapidly, a marble that has never won in Marbula One, surprisingly, even though the Savage Speeders were champions. Here we take a look at the mid-pack. This battle between Clutter, Yellow just off the screen, Snowy, and Hop. Oh, nice speed there, coming off of the conveyor belt and the first turn to get Cerulean back up into 2nd place. And Cerulean carrying that speed into the start of the 2nd sector, trying to get by rapidly. 2 marbles that want their first win. And oh yeah, Razzie never won either. So the top 3, all winless thus far in Marbula One. 1.3 second lead for rapidly coming up the belt. Over Cerulean, Razzie, Nemo, Minty Fresh, Yellow, Orangin, Clutter, Snowy, and C. Then it's Mallard, Hop, Hazy, Yellow Eye, Bumble, and Pulsar. Some moves down there in the farther part of the course. Nemo up into 3rd place, gets by Razzie, tries to get by Cerulean, but we lose sight. There's the view through the tunnel. That's the mid-pack there, so who is battling up front? We hear some oohs and ahs from the crowd. Rapidly comes across, still leading. Nemo up 2 spots into 2nd place, Cerulean and Razzie. High on the curves, goes rapidly. We've seen that's not the fastest way around this circuit. Cerulean backs into 2nd place, but look at the gap between the 3 of them. It's anybody's race for 2nd place right now, and we've seen how quickly the lead up front can evaporate as well. Nice inside move there by Orangin. Farther back in the field, now back to the top 3. Well, top 4 as we see in this shot. Nemo can't make the move there. Razzie side by side with Cerulean, coming up the belt with a couple of laps to go. Razzie gets the better jump according to the scoring pylon. There we see it. Rapidly well off into the distance. No, not really. We see that gap coming down. Now as we get a clearer look at those top 4, that gap is not insurmountable by any means. Razzie in 2nd place, holding off Cerulean while at the same time keeping tabs on the leader. Cerulean dive bombs it in the penultimate corner to take 2nd place heading into the final lap. Who will win the final race of this season of Marbula One? Rapidly, cleaner through the first couple of turns. And what will the gap be exiting the 1st sector? It is fairly safe thus far, but we've seen Cerulean is strong through the 2nd and 3rd sectors. Rapidly holds it for now. Razzie in 3rd place, Nemo and Minty Fresh. The gap is huge for Rapidly. Can Cerulean close it? It's not going to happen. Rapidly, the first win ever in Marbula One. Cerulean takes 2nd place. Razzie rounds out the podium. Nemo and Minty Fresh, the top 5. Rapidly's best finish prior to this had been 3rd place. That came back at Misty Mountain. Otherwise, it had been 3 straight 16th place finishes before that. Sandwich a DNQ in there at the Arctic Circuit. But Rapidly finishes the season going 3rd place and 1st place, up 9 spots from a 10th place qualifying. That also gets Rapidly into the positive for spots gained versus lost when you compare qualifying in the race across this season. One of Cerulean's mistake, one of a handful of marbles to make that error, riding the curbs on the outside of the 1st turn. It's much quicker if you can stay off of them. Some marbles learned that over the course of this race. Others just could not get it right. Here's Rapidly. Fakes the move to the inside, made Razzie try to cover that, and instead juked to the outside and got the spot. A physical race at times, especially down that front stretch. So the tunnel serving up some surprises as well. what a season of Marbula One this has been. The final team standings. The Savage Speeders vault their way onto the second step of the podium, and the Green Ducks round out third. To our eventual guaranteed champions, the Crazy Cat's Eyes in their inaugural season in Marbula One. And Savage Speeders showing consistency across these first 2 seasons of this new sport as well. Red Eye gets the top spot for the individual championship, but Speedy pips Yellow Eye for second place. Everybody scored a point in the individual championship and in the team championship. Congratulations. What a year it was. And one of our devoted fans, Sarah Tang, pretty happy with the Savage Speeders getting another good season under their belts. And so for the final time, from Midnight Bay, we thank you for watching. Check out our composer's YouTube channel, by the way, called How and Why. And we hope to see you next season. For everybody here at Yelle's Marble Runs, I'm Greg Woods. Thanks for watching.